Tay and Fa then left because they still had classes. If only they had more free time, Fa would have helped To until the cafe closed. For To, that was fine. He even thanked Fa. Tay said that the two of them would post the photos on their social media pages as soon as possible. When To checked the board in front of the cafe, he accidentally bumped into a customer. To almost fell but was lucky to be helped by a handsome, bespectacled customer named Freeze. To repeatedly apologized. Tay, who was still in the yard, asked if To was okay. To replied that he was fine and told Tay that he could leave. To apologized once again. He asked whether Freeze had come to drink coffee. Freeze answered yes. Seeing the closeness between the two of them, Fa smiled. At the campus canteen, Tay and Fa saw a student named Bank approaching Jimmy. Bank came to ask for Jimmy's contact information, because he heard that Jimmy was currently single. Jimmy turned around and saw Tay and Fa. He immediately acted sweet and said that he was indeed single now and open to getting to know someone. Fa, who saw this, actually smiled at Jimmy's behavior. He then loudly said that To had a kind of magnet. Did Tay see that customer who came earlier? While giving a signal to Tay, Fa added that it seemed the customer was focused only on To. Tay also agreed that the customer who bumped into To earlier was on a higher level. He seemed very warm, friendly, and smart as well. Not wanting to lose, Jimmy asked Bank if he had time tonight. He wanted to invite him over to his place. Bank agreed, and Jimmy could send him the address. Meanwhile, Fa, feeling fed up, asked Tay to leave with him. After they left, Jimmy, feeling curious, wondered whether To was running a cafe or a dating agency. At the cafe, To served coffee to Freeze. He said to consider it an apology for earlier. Freeze asked whether To wanted him to stay awake all night. Besides that, he had heard To sibling earlier. Freeze and To then began to get to know each other. Freeze said that he was a dentist. He worked at a hospital not far from To's cafe. To should not hesitate to drop by sometime for a checkup. Seeing the drawing on the coffee cup, Freeze asked whether To had drawn it himself. To Freeze, To was very talented and the drawing was very cute. To said yes, he was the one who drew it. He planned to draw on every customer's coffee cup. However, since today was the first day, things were a bit chaotic. And the drawing on Freeze's cup was the first one he made. Hearing that, Freeze felt honored. And the coffee was very delicious as well. To thanked him for the compliment. One of the employees came to To and asked how to order ice, because their stock had run out. To then left with his employee. That night, Jimmy went home with Bank. They sat together. Seeing that Jimmy looked sore, Bank took the initiative on his own. He immediately sat on Jimmy's lap. Bank began teasing Jimmy. But Jimmy quickly realized and said that Bank's perfume was too strong. And that today he was not in a good mood. Bank was annoyed to hear that, and said that Jimmy should not have called him. Jimmy had wasted his time. Jimmy apologized for that. He said that he was not usually like this. Bank chose to leave. Jimmy then began talking to his beloved cat. He said that his mother, who was none other than To, was begging him. And Jimmy was ready to take him back. Looking at Sensei, Jimmy thought about whether he himself was actually at fault. Sensei had to know that Jimmy was never wrong. And that he never begged anyone first. Sensei was his child, so he had to be on his side. At the cafe, when To was checking the sales results for the day, While looking for something, he accidentally found Sensei's food in his bag. To then remembered when he was looking for something before. Jimmy asked what To was looking for. To said he was looking for snacks for Sensei. Jimmy said that he had forgotten to buy them. To replied that he would go buy them. Jimmy felt that To really loved Sensei. For To, he had to love Sensei and his father as well. Jimmy did not believe it until To kissed him. To then kissed Jimmy. And wanted Jimmy to believe him. To murmured that if he wanted to stop the pain, then he had to end it. To apologized to Sensei. The next day, Jimmy was seen hiding around To's cafe. Seeing someone wearing glasses, Jimmy felt that this was the person Tae and Fa had talked about. Jimmy wondered what he should do. He tried to think of a plan. Meanwhile, To served coffee to Freeze. Freeze then gave To a flyer for an art exhibition. Coincidentally, one of his patients had given it to him. If To had free time, he could let Freeze know. Because Freeze was looking for someone to go with. To replied that he was not sure if he had free time. Freeze understood because during the cafe opening, To must be very busy. Freeze then asked for To's contact information. If both of their schedules were free, they could go together. To agreed and gave it to him. In the middle of their conversation, one of the customers there overheard them. It turned out to be someone hired by Jimmy. He immediately left. Jimmy asked what To and the bespectacled man were talking about. The man reported that Freeze was a dentist. The two of them then exchanged numbers. And anyone who saw it would surely know that Freeze was pursuing To. Freeze even made an excuse using the art exhibition flyer, with the intention of going together. And To simply agreed. Jimmy then asked for the QR code to pay that person. Besides that, he also asked for a cup of coffee with a drawing made by To. Seeing the drawing on the coffee cup, Jimmy smiled. At home, Jimmy kept thinking hard about Freeze's closeness with To. Jimmy told Sensei that there was someone flirting with his mother. He was a dentist. Could Jimmy compete with him? Jimmy then remembered his last argument with To. That's all for this part. See you in the next part. Thank you for watching. Until then, have a nice day.